Hey there. How's it going? Just a bit. All right. So, hey, like I said, how's it going? So yeah, what we're currently working on and our primary focus at the minute is finishing off the last of the images that we're going to use for the next 2 weeks of posts. So we got all of our glossary stuff done for these posts, and which is great. I mean, it's awesome. You know, we've got that progress done, and the fun part is that now it's a matter of getting this last one done, because I did a little bit more, you know, outside of off stream and all that, because you know, the work must go on, or the show must go on, or what have you. All right, so without further ado, the gist is that, and this is actually kind of a last pass sort of thing. Well, I said last pass. It kind of is actually. It's kind of like we've got to, and I might actually end up modifying the thing to be exactly what you see on the screen there, because the problem I'm having right now is that you can see your hands are a little off. And his hands got just mangled. So, these things happen. Let's see. I'm having fun making things go big and small. So yeah, so that is kind of where we're at. Actually gonna change the size of that image preview one there. All right, let's crop it right. You don't need to see all that. I mean, you can. I don't mind you seeing all that, but it's more like it's distracting. Let's see how that works. Why didn't it do it immediately? What's going on? Enter. Uh-oh. Where'd it go? Oh no, it changes the wrong thing. I think it actually changes something completely different. Let me see. So we're looking at the Thunar. I'm going to Thunar pages. Where is it? There you are. Uh-oh. Whoa, something weird happened there. Alright, let's make that 0. Oh, well, that's not what we want. 60, 80. Let's get this guy a little bit larger. But I don't wanna. Actually, let's go ahead and extend that to the best of what it is. Yeah, go out to there. And then we're gonna make the crop the bottom by 0, by 30, 50. No, 500. That was 500. 250. 200. 150. No, 175. There we go. 190. Well, I guess it is 195. I guess it is 200. 200. There you go. And crop right. Make it 0. Nope. 300. 400. 500. And 450. You can see the edge a little bit. Crop that. Make that 1,000. Make that 900. I don't know. I'm having way too much fun doing it. All right. Don't ever grab my work. All right. There you go. That's what we're looking at. I'm gonna take it smaller because it's not our primary focus. So it's a big focus. It's not our only focus, right? I got like messed, but there you go. So, because that's what we're currently looking at. The generations on the right side, right? So it's a generation process that has. Oh, I opened the wrong thing. That has. You can see that there. 18 minutes, so 20 minutes or so. We'll go through and we'll take that time there. So, but for this portion, you can see here how we've already on the background there. You can see how we've got just the seafaring captain. Everything else is done. So now, once we get that done, and hopefully we get that done here within the next like bit of time, right? We'll be in a space. Excuse me. We'll be in a space where, long and short, is we'll have those articles done over the next 2 weeks, and then it'll give me 2.5 weeks. Well, technically 2 weeks to get. If we're being technical, it'll be probably a week at most of ooh, that's not exactly accurate, because the problem is that I need still to have time to do, well, this stuff, right? It'll give me some time to build out new articles, new posts, right? Because the previous generative model that we were using, it kind of works, but it doesn't work kind of how I want it to work, you know? So it's one of those weird parts. So while we're waiting for the Stable Diffusion to finish its thing, we will just get some work done on the where are we? The script stuff. And that picture's old. I need to like go through and like fix that. Like try and see if I can fix this background up here on this one, because it's one of my like first major play arounds with like the glass walker idea and all that. So cool ideas, but you can even see like this part here, the hand. I never liked the legs, but I was like, this is still cool looking, you know, for a stellar dragon, right? I can see all the flaws in it now, though. That's the fun part about the way that kind of works. It's like, this is really old. But then again, on the other hand, let's see. I don't think that should show things that are too untoward, because I haven't done much here. Yeah, because you can't actually see information, right? I mean, anyway. But yeah, like that's fine because it's simple vector or whatever. But this is like, just doesn't quite do it, you know. And maybe I'll do it. You know, I'll play with it some later or some more. All right, so right now, where are we at? Just want to look at something here. So we got our post schedules. Oh, I did check them. I just forgot to mark them, which is my bad. This is the night series. I kind of forgot about checking off those final boxes, which is a me problem. But all right, and then there's the many eyes one. So wait, is that this week? Oh, I'm only behind by a little. Today is Thursday, so that would mean these are done. These are done. Night Templar again. It's Thursday. So this is done, and this is done. So right now our posts themselves are going through a like. You can see that they're 76 point process. The 5 points don't take quite as much, but they're, you know, a good summarization of our, you know, of all the other stuff we did. What? Why is this unchecked? Why is this over here for unchecked? Got an unchecked box somewhere. Oh, whoopsie. I might have to fix that later on, but it's fine. The glossary checkboxes, I think I didn't actually go through and like make them such, so we'll have to do some iteration on the stuff later on, you know, some future iteration. Actually, we'll want to do like a revamp on the SEO on the stuff or something like that later on. All right, so yeah, so that's the night's technical build is for tomorrow. So yeah, I said I'd kind of lost its focus. So yeah, these are all legacy ones. Yeah, so that's kind of where we're at with that. It's all the old stuff that we put out and it just wasn't like quite there, you know. We're at 67%. All right, let's look at my to-do list. Where are we at? Also, thanks to viewers like you, our stats, although they're not ready to be done yet today. I was looking at them earlier, and like the overall kind of performance-y stuff. You see, that total impressions of 10K. Ooh, that was weird. Our current total impressions for the past month have been 4.56K, which means that it's half again for the past 3 months. So half, that is, say, about half of our impressions have been from over the past month. It's a little disturbing to see that, you know, we had a good peak and then it kind of dwindled down a little bit, but that's just how the cookie crumbles. Nonetheless, our overall clicks kind of did a pretty cool hit up there. So on Tuesday and so on. So it's not a horrible sign. Although we did have 5 that popped off. They were older ones, and so those have actually been reviewed by this point in time. So and they actually pretty much immediately re-indexed. So they're actually re-indexed at this stage. So that's a great sign. We also got over our previous, which was 70 within the 28-day rolling period, 70 Google-driven clicks up to over 70. We're at 71 last I looked, and that may have changed in the past, you know, bit of time. But it hasn't actually popped up here, which is crazy. It happened. That's like 50 clicks in 28 days, and if I go track my achievements or our achievements, yeah, we're actually at 71 right now. So it hasn't actually gone up since I last looked. But that is a marked improvement because we actually went below 60 and we are like edging down towards 50, and then we got back up to 70. So, which is cool, you know, because I don't like the fact that it went like that. But the fact is that that's actually pretty neat. So let's go check on the stable diffusion stuff or that stuff. So as I said before, we're actually going to do some coding-y type stuff today too while we're waiting for this. As I am, as opposed to yesterday, or was it yesterday or the day before, where I wasn't really feeling it. Oh, neener, freaking Overtone. The yesterday song. It said yesterday as I said yesterday. But you can see that these are kind of coming through. It's basically a check edit. I may have to, well, let me see. His thumb is just wrong. May have to do it more aggressively. And that one, the captain's hand got messed up. Darn it. That his hand is fine, but that one, obviously, the nobleman's hand got messed up. So I might have to redo this one again. Here, start a new redo. If it doesn't fix it with a higher, because I only did like 0.3, yeah, 0.3 denoising, so which is not very high. 0.4. Actually, I'm gonna leave it at 0.3 and see how it comes out. But it's probably gonna. I'll wait. Because did I leave? Yeah, I did leave there's the refiner. The detailer is active. So. And then we'll bump that. We'll bump that up to 4 if it doesn't fix it. So we'll see if it does it. You know what happens. All right. So, like I said, we're gonna do a little bit more of complexity stuff today. Actually, that's the other thing. It's still compiling because I only just set up the Wincher back up, and Wincher is just basically another keyword tracker that kind of supplements SEMrush and why did it log me out? What the crud? Let me in. Oh yeah, there we go. So, well, we're kind of poking a little bit. So it's still, like I said, it's still updating there on that. But you can see that, like, yeah, we had a dip on the 26th, just like, yeah. But then it's, I mean, the 29th, so that's today. Fair amount of views, but the visitor count it dwindled a bit, but that's okay. You know, some days are indeed a little bit harder than others, and so it's one of those, like, I don't mind seeing it do things because that's actually consistent. The 25th, what day was the 25th? The 25th was Sunday. What's crazy about that is that we also had a marked improved stream too, like for viewer count and all that stuff. So it's just interesting. It's kind of how these go. Yeah, I like seeing that impressions go up. Let's take a quick look at something else there while we're thinking about it. So we're at, oh, that was the wrong one. So we're here. The one, let's see, yeah. So you can see how that's actually going up by a fair margin, and it'll continue that rate because we're not going to lose, you know. But from last month or from the last week that's going to fall off, we're not going to lose like the bulk majority. So actually, that number plus one total unique visitors, which is the traffic stats, it has gone pretty far up, which is cool. So, and then we can see that went -5, but it's that same information. So that's cool. Actually, let's go check SEMrush. I'm having fun, honestly. It's kind of a personal point on that one. I'm having fun kind of watching the stuff kind of improve. Stellar Dragon It's not. I'm having fun watching that improve and like do stuff like that. Wow. Look at that. So the authority score didn't go up, which is fine. That's a long play, but the organic search traffic jumped back up. So our high is 19, but we're currently at 15. But considering it dropped, I mean, this says it dropped 8, but in all, oh, never mind, that's for 6 months. Well, I guess the lowest it dropped to 8. That's apparently what it is. But for 6 months, because it doesn't go 3 months, it's only been open for about 3 months on this site. We dwindled. Oh, that's the, you know what? That's the worldwide traffic. Tricked me. Trixie. So yeah, you can see how the U.S. traffic dropped to 0. That's why I was so happy seeing it going up to 15. But unfortunately, that's the, well, fortunately, it's the worldwide traffic. But our focus primarily is the U.S. for a number of reasons. So, anyway, so all said, so 11, and then down to 2, which is where we're currently at, which is where we're been holding for a little bit. It should predictably go up here because we can see our overall trend once again, 133, 131, 133, 133. So it's kind of stagnated a little bit, but I expect it'll improve. It'll go up from 133. So let's go look at the trends there here on this. And those other ones oddly are like still kind of ish. Like by what I've seen, those sites are actually kind of not. Some of them are open, like are actually alive and doing the same, you know, kind of waking up in the same way we are. But some of them are actually weirdly like this one's actually not even a supported site, and yet it's still that, and it's not even that. Honestly, no offense to the creator, like because it's amazing work on that. We did a look at the d20handbooks.wordpress.com. No offense to the creator, but they basically have like a half completed project, and somehow, because of just inertia, I guess, it's 258 keywords. They're covering about the same. It's actually covering about the same topics that we are. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. I think it's probably just, as I said before, inertia. I find it interesting that now here you see that. So how it's like compared to the stuff. Now that being said, we'll actually be doing some more meta work on it and like some media campaign type stuff to try and pull these numbers up. But I just want to, before we did that, I want to get a good process, because last time we didn't really have a good process. And I mean, to be honest, I spent way too much money on promo stuff before I was ready to promo. Just before we were ready to promo, I was just like, let's go. But I wasn't ready for it. I didn't have a processes that were solid enough, and I thought it was okay, but it was still kind of ish. Yeah. All right, let's see. 74 on this run of it, which we'll probably have to do another couple of runs. All right, let's get to some silly coterie stuff. Oh, it's 69 clicks versus 55, or versus the 55 we had last try. Oh, 55 clicks versus, see, that's where I put it down. I put it down here, 55 clicks versus 69 clicks. I am obligated to say nice and then leave it at that. But yeah, so we're, it's definitely, I mean, it's definitely a little bit of improvement, but no, that's a big improvement, honestly, and I'm very happy to see that. Very happy to see that indeed. What, publishing soon? Oh, that should have published. Should be in the recently published tablet. What are you doing to me, computer? August 28th is when that says that should be published, the Knight Templar, and it's weird. It'll be fine. I'm certain it'll be fine. So yeah, so there's that. I still need to figure out, and it's an off-screen stuff, I still need to figure out why Clicky is not showing stuff. But again, that's more of a off-screen stuff. So. All right, let's take a look. See, it's at the coterie stuff as we're tabbing between that. Where is it? Article over there. You can kind of see it pop in the background there. Let's see, how do we want to do this? Because I basically, one of my major things that I've done is I've changed my kind of layout on some stuff, because I came to the realization that having all the stuff on screen that I was probably just like super overwhelming for most people. Like not even knowing how to, like, certain stuff, certain elements, right, are fine. But let's actually take this. And hide it for now. Yeah. And then let's find where I put the thingy at. They were image preview. That can be hidden for now. Until we're ready. And once it's done, we'll actually, and again, we'll run with a slate. I need to add. I'll make it take longer, but I need to add denoising. I'm gonna actually interrupt this because I'm gonna change it. Because I've come to the realization, like just looking at what just happened here, that having an additional one is going to be good because I want more denoising. Denoising, point, it's 0.3 or 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, and 0.6. Which actually I shouldn't put the states, not 0.6. Because basically what it'll do is it'll add like a whole bunch of like, a whole bunch of the variabilities there. I mean, that's a lot though, isn't it? But that time I was using anyway, right? So, for kind of what we're looking at, I may or may not reconsider that one because that's gonna do a lot. We'll see how the estimate goes. Yeah, an hour and a half, 2 hours. Hour. Yeah, we'll call it 2 hours. I mean, again, we're not gonna sit here and wait for it to finish off with 2 hours, but it's the sort of thing where, like, doing it this way, it'll give me like a vast array to kind of look at. It'll take me a while to click through, but it's the sort of thing where it'll give me an idea of things I was already doing anyway. So, all right, we're gonna do, like I said before, we're gonna do the Cody stuff. So let's go ahead and find you. But what did you update? All right, that's fair. All right, so that's running there. That's running there, and there's actually something I'm gonna change. I just thought of that I'm gonna change from now on. Name it, like the name of the stream, instead of Chilling with Me, which it is. Well, maybe it should be Chillin. I don't know. I need to like figure out a way to I don't know. I need to figure out a good way to say it. All right. I'll deal with it later. So. Focus like a ficus, because I need to really think this through. I'm just, as I said before, taking a moment to think. I'm torn apart. I'm gonna look at my whiteboard for a second. I actually like diving into it for a hot minute. Again, unfortunately, I still don't really have a great camera for that. Or a great, even like a conceptual great camera angle, but that's a future me problem. All right, let's see. Ooh, I like that. We actually have d20handbooks.com as well, which I'm gonna do for certain things, specific things, very specific things, but that's a future me problem. Because that's more, it'll be more like a conversation about D20 handbooks and possibly trying to see if I can set up dropshipping or something like that. trying to think. Oh shoot, where did my marker go? I don't know where my marker went. Crap. Is it nice? Yes, okay. Found it. Which way am I scooting? Am I scooting forward again? Sorry if that banged. Get some dip so we can use it. So, the process, which is what I had written here, and apparently some of it got erased, but oh, not much of it got erased. It's a source upload. There we go. Source upload. Oh, I can't write right now. All right, so because the journalized process, just to kind of run this through, and again, I know you can't really see it, but source upload, article generation, readability, image generation, into SEO, text, proofing, scheduling, and review. So with our current lot of our stuff, with the stuff that's remaining, we're in image generation. Right now, article source upload is actually, we've got a whole bunch of backlog from like 5th ed and some, but we've got and Pathfinder actually needs to get re-uploaded, recut and re-uploaded. But we're currently in a spot where we don't have enough we don't have article generation going on. Because although I have the value added stuff set up, I don't have, let's see, what am I missing? So let's see. I mean, this part you're not really able to see, but I got it right now. So. Article gen. So the one that I was using could pull in multiple resources to talk about the stuff, rather than just kind of like using what was available, which is kind of neat, and I like it. But for one thing, I've got to like do, so let's see, so I've got two paths, either in-house or what's the name of that thing? I actually have an affiliate program with them yet. Still haven't really exploited it, but it's either in-house or third party, and that's kind of a duh, but I want to write the pros and cons. So the in-house, full creative control. And oddly enough, and this is actually contradictory to like a lot of common sense that you see in corporate environments or businesses in general or small business positions, is low cost. But because the developer would be me, right? I have high time overhead. But I also have an existing code base. So I already have resources kind of, I've already developed a good portion of the code base for this thing. So it's low cost, high time overhead. Sorry, I can't even think straight right now. High time overhead. I have an existing code base though. So, plus minus plus code base, existing code base. Because basically I have the experience to it. I have the abilities to do it. I can do it myself. It's just going to take time. Or, but it's also a new-ish process because I have to spend time to redevelop processes that I developed. So I'm kind of retreading some of the stuff. And I'm also dependent directly upon, all the infrastructure. I have to deal with a bunch of the infrastructure stuff. But leveraging leveraging GPT-4 means that I can get away with it. Basically, I can actually get away with it. It's one of those things where because GPT-4 is cheap, I can do it that way. Now, third party, on the other hand, high cost. And high cost is a relative term here, by the way. Even though it basically is an additional 50 a month. Limited throughput. And that because that's it limits to like 25 posts per month at that cost. Whereas the cost per article for GPT 4.0, which does really great work, it's probably no more than than like 50 cents, maybe a buck. Plus the overhead to process. But I'm not, it's one of those like process overhead always is going to be there. So I can't get away with that. Get away with it on that right now. This sounds terrible, but I'm not paying no one because we are, we're still in this very formative phase where we're still spending money, and it's my money, I might add, mostly, mostly, to kind of do that. Whereas the let's see, I've already got a strong dev process for the aforementioned third party. I have a it's also solid proofing from specialists. No coding. Now, the thing is that no coding is a time thing. So, time. Because the thing is that I can code. I have code. In fact, actually, like some of the cooler parts of and this is why it's a discussion at this point. The coolest parts of our posts generated by my code base, right? Our code base. So it's the sort of thing where this is like, it's a plus, but it's a weak plus. Honestly, full creative control is super important to me. And low cost is super important to me. High time overhead, however, is a big negative for me. Existing code base is a neutral, and newish process is actually like a plus minus. And the reason why it's a plus minus is because although that sucks that I have to build new process, truth is I like developing new process. Turn this down a little bit more. It's kind of, I love it, but it's loud, and I need it, but it's loud. So newish process. So it's one of those things where it's like, deving the process. I like deving the process. It just takes time, right? It just takes time and focus. The high cost. Let's see. Oh, one other thing that's a big plus for, and it is actually just out of the box double plus. Double plus on good? No, double plus good. Ah ha ha ha. What? 1984. I have it on my shelf. What do you want from me? Anyway, the reason why it's a double plus is because this thing that I'm about to say is because once it's rolling, low instance time. So if I get it good enough, right? So once all that's done, if I get it good enough, it increases my throughput significantly versus, and that's my personal throughput, so therefore the organizational throughput. Whereas this process, and that's a double minus for me, high instance time. TTL. Time to life. Because for these processes, so if I go for my own code base, and this is the biggest argument for code base stuff, right? If I go for my own code base, my instance time, like the time to live, right? It's time to live, by the way, in the context of ping and whatnot, but time to live is, and this is what I'm using here because more acronyms, right? And acronyms that are overlapping just to make it more complicated. Don't do that, please. Please don't do that. I just did it, but don't do it. But that's super, super, super important to me because I already have a lot of overhead with the image stuff, which I'm trying to cut down by certain means, like what I just did there, with those modifications that I just did there. That'll lower my overheads because I don't have to keep like regenerating it, right? It's going to take a while for it to finish its process, but I can also, you know, get it to run and let it run, and then eventually I'll have to spend like a half an hour, 45 minutes to run through it. So it's that sort of circumstance. Now, the low cost, like I said before, that's $50, but that's at a variable. Like they have like modifiers that in turn push that price up, or not push the price up. They push the so arguably it's one post per credit, the way that works, and it's 50 credits. So that's per 50 credits. But the problem with that one is, and the issue that I have with that is that it's actually probably 25 posts. Probably actually 20 posts. Good solid posts, at least the last time I was using it. So, because you have to use modifiers to it that increase the price of it, and then sometimes the post won't, you know, the proposed article won't work, but you still pay for the post, right? So the first 30 mass with the research time, and that's kind of done now, but with the research time set up with the outlines, and that's the established process I'm talking about. So I already have a process for it. Will take probably, like, for really great ones, if I'm shooting for the moon, sometimes they'll get lucky and it'll be like 1 or 2 credits. Actually, there'll be 2 credits because I'll be using the modifier for it to make them, you know, the higher quality type. But there's still a chance that 2 credits will be just used and I won't be able to use the material that's produced. Nature using AI. Whereas if the stuff that's produced for the in-house stuff, in-house side, it's also modular too. That's another modular plus. All right. The modular thing and all that means that eventually I can get myself where I can take the knowledge that I've gotten here and cut it over to, you know, an in-house hosted AGI. Yes, we have artificial general intelligence now. No, an in-house because again, AI is not the actual word. It's not the actual word. Generative process. Timing is the worst for that response. So that being said, so with the high cost, with the modularity, that one's actually like plus, like a bunch of pluses. I'm pretty much sold on the in-house part, the in-house direction. But that being said, fair is fair, and I have to make sure I do my full mental kind of application to the other side. So the high cost, I mean, honestly, it's a single minus because it's not that excessive. It's still out of pocket, but at this point in time, $50 is $50, right? I don't really care. Limited throughput is actually a huge minus for me. A big minus for me. Because that limited throughput, that it's not a. Let's put it this way: I can't turn on a dime and fix stuff. Whereas because it's a month-over-month type purchase. There are ways to do it, but that's again more cost. Whereas to do R&D type stuff, whereas the cost ratios don't change for the experimentation that I've got here. And with my existing code base elements, I already have a pretty low cost solution. Like I said before, they're about 20 cents to $1, we'll say, per article, like once I've done with it. and I can probably, well, I don't know if I can get that less for using the 4.0, but eventually if I get my own kind of server space set up, I can almost certainly get that down. I need to do some research on that on a meta level, which is on my list. But to get away from GPT, you know, and from OpenAI, right, as a service, to be able to have my own stood up, to do my own thing where I'm not being charged, right? That's the big thing where we're not being charged for that. That's the big thing there. So I will then go into let's see, go back over there. So that's kind of a contrast there. Where strong dev processes, that's actually a big plus for me because I already know what I'm doing. Like I've already done it like 40, 50 times using this process. So I know what this process looks like. This process, the other one, I've got an idea of what the in-house process looks like, but the details start getting a little fuzzy. And I actually, from the previous incarnation of the stuff we were working on, actually have a pretty good idea. But because of this modularity, I can actually apply it to other projects that aren't as that are either related, semi-related, or completely out there. Once I get a firm grasp, and it's mostly built towards that modularity. Actually, I've made a lot of decisions where it's pretty modular. Although I do loathe the fact that I do have to do a full audit of the code base to not. It's the thing is that the API calls and all that are misallocated, that are pointing to GPT, or sorry, GPT, and what's the other one? And the old website. Both of those are, you know, they're a pain, but they're not dead in the water, right? It's annoying, is all it comes down to. So fix that out. Solid proofing from specialist. So in other words, the process itself already has like specialized focus processes. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, that's a big plus for me. That actually justifies it actually legitimately justifies the that $50 spend. But the problem with it is because the other caveats there, well, especially like the full creative control stuff, and the modularity. Like those two elements, the modularity and the full creative control stuff, those are big deals to me. Big deals to me. Those are super important to me. So those ones are the ones that I'm gonna go, but. And honestly, I am going to go through the effort here. I'm looking at it now because I like using my whiteboard. I'm gonna do a space for just like a camera that's just on the whiteboard well, one of the things I want to think about is getting like a smart board so I can like have it where it's more directly on the screen with the what I'm writing down. But you know, it's not like I got funding, right? That's not me thing. All right. So, no coding. Honestly, it's like a half of a plus. Like, I have to put it on there if I'm being honest, but I like doing it. I enjoy doing it in the context of what we're doing here. So, you know what I'm saying. All right, and then high instance time TTL, and that's related to basically the gist is that I can on my own processes on the one that's on these stuff, I can basically build it to where the processes are better TTL, where I just like review them and make sure that everything's in the right space. High instance time TTL, I've got a bunch of value added as well. Not only is there the element of like doing the process to check it and make sure it's all good to go, but I also have to then have my folks spend time reorganizing stuff if I'm like just pushing them through to get them in the right order. Whereas this one I can, and the other plus about this stuff here is that, and it's actually, I think it's a pretty big plus, is that it's, you know, order control. Well, actually, honestly, no. That's not even like more of a big plus. But because I already wrote it, control, and that's a super big deal on this. Um, that one, like the other one, it could be argued that it's part of the licensing and all that the content's mine, right? And then to do with it as I will. But I could see licensing problems come up. And if that solution doesn't work, I can see that one being a big issue. Not that I have anything, not that I think that those individuals would do so, not that I think that the organization would do so, but we run into now. We do run into that still with the current implementation that we have with using GPT 4.0 and doing heavy editing on that stuff. I mean, it's when I say heavy editing, I mean like substantially heavy editing. The one thing I haven't done yet, honestly, is build my own GPT instance, as it were, and train my own GPT instance, which I was about to before things kind of went haywire previously, which would have honestly been a mistake because I wasn't, because long and short is I wasn't ready for it. But what I do want to do though is ultimately be able to take this modularity and completely wean away from the as a service. So third party as a service. So I want to get away. Well, one of my primary running matters is I want to get away. And this is a personal me and therefore the organizational direction, because I get to determine the organizational direction. To get away from as a service models. Not because I don't necessarily see that those services don't have value, because they do. Oh, they're great. But because of, and I hate to say it does come down to this, because of control. Because of creative control, because of the ability to do with the stuff as you wish in the manner that you wish to do so. Now, freaking even the open source ones end up running this to a certain extent because Stable Diffusion ran into that, and I don't know what I need to find a better. This is a different scenario entirely because we're using 3.5 for Stable Diffusion. Is it 3.5? No, 1.5. Excuse me, the numbers right. 1.5 for Stable Diffusion, which the licensing is completely open. We may, when I get a better rig, move to SDXL, because again, the licensing is open. But they injected a concern in the next gen version of it, having different like licensing models and like subscription models and all of that crap. And I do say crap because I get it. You're doing this thing, you need to make money, whatever. But frankly speaking, and pardon me this, frankly speaking, I don't give a damn. And I say that politely because I respect what these folks are doing. I respect that the grind is real, the struggle is real, right? And you got to make your money how you're ever going to make it. If anyone's got that, I got it, because I found myself folding back to my tech background because I couldn't quite hack it with this thing starting up. The Stellar Guardians thing starting up. I couldn't quite hack at that. I couldn't pay the bills with it alone. Eventually it might, but for the time being, I had to go back to a standard 9 to 5. And although I do love the job that I found myself kind of fumbling into, the fact of the matter is that I had to fumble into it or end up homeless, which I was okay with, but the people around me weren't, which is annoying because it was one of those like, I'll just go die in the corner, right? It's fine. But then all said, with that in mind, I didn't, and by the grace of God, I did not. And I do say that, pardon me, but it has to be said in circumstances like this. So, that being said, here we are. I'm still going to make this thing work. We're still going to make this thing work. But I've learned a bit about what we're kind of looking at this stage. And I'm still not a master of the topic matter. And I'm more technical. Which is in turn why I'm looking at going the in-house is a better answer. Because if we push things out of house to third party, although those are convenient answers, they're not solutions. They're band-aids, they're patches, they're holdovers until we can have our own, until we can have our own in-house stuff, until we can have someone who's, you know, great at the graphics thing. Which actually we just pulled somebody on board. Media Detective there is actually very much so capable of this stuff. So though his specialty is more writing, the fact of the matter is that for like the art stuff that we're looking for, the level we're looking for, and shall we say trustworthiness, I have faith. I have full faith. So, the reason why I bring that up though is that so we need to get ultimately away from the as a service models because there's a huge vulnerability to that. You know, pray I alter the deal no further and more in-house, which in turn is why I'm more likely to want to take over the in-house. Now this is a kind of a cost calculation I've already done, already made my decision for the in-house. But running through this and isolating this, kind of like talking it through, I see some strong benefits for the as a service as a patch, which is what we already did for the first group. But I'm gonna say that, I mean, yeah, are we going to use those 25 posts at the current stage with the nature of what our processes are and all that? No, we're not. No, I mean, just no, we're not. We're just not. It's just not even going to happen. Like, I'm not, as it is, because right now we're going through what is 3 times 4, right? So 12, right? 3, 6, 9, 12, yeah. Hey, I do math. I need more alcohol because I'm doing math. It's too good still. So we know that effectively, that if I'm capable of thus, and I am, because for one thing, I've proven myself to myself, right? I got nothing to prove. And more seriously, but I, you know, if I'm capable of pulling this off, then I'll be able to, with the resources I have at hand, and actually I can repurpose the stuff that's on the third party elements. If I can pull it off to where I'm happy with the article, with the posts, then that means that I can do a lot more with the limited staff and limited amount of time that we have. The currently more limited amount of time that I have, to be able to get these kind of cut over in a more direct means. Because right now we're having to, on the original stuff, we're having to go through and like, I got Dib actually on doing full reviews of everything that was the old stuff, to integrate the new stuff and to eliminate redundant sections. And honestly, I mean, if I go to, let's say this, I think I end up screwing some stuff up here. No, where are they at right now? I'm not sure where I put them. I think they're currently in the readability station, right? If I go through here, like the article revamp, review, the barbarian rage, right? Let's go with the easy one, right? That's the glossary. That's the actual page. So if I go to the nomad build, right? If I go to the raging nomad barbarian raging nomad build, nomad barbarian raging nomad build. Sorry about that. And he just made me die inside. Right. If I go to the raging nomad. Oops, what the? That's not what I expected to happen. That was also weird. Anyway, so if I go back here, right, and I look at this, and I saw something that actually kind of upsets me, so I'm gonna have to core features, no strategies, combat scenarios, optimizer. So like, this is value added, even though we already built those a while ago. This is value added. Like, this is added as part of the thing, right? Cool. And so the stat blocks, right? The critical milestones is value added. The equipment progression is value added. The core abilities and features is, I want to say it might be value added too. Let me see. Oh, maybe not. Core abilities and features are not, but it's really, really straightforward. The core abilities and features of the Raging Nomad. Okay. The combat scenarios, strategies, combat scenarios. Again, that is part of the I don't know why it's apostrophe s, it should just be s, but whatever, it's fine. Combat scenarios, that is part of value added. Optimizing range and combat tactics, it's there, and it's kind of ish, honestly. It's kind of ish. Making use of terrain, that's I could easily generate that and probably do better than that one is without having to edit it as much as it was to get there. This is actually all stuff that needs to be removed. Maybe not all of it, but like an intro to it, like a brief intro to it, is stuff that I could have as part of the dealio, right? And then these fatigue after rage ends, planar trees at level over for teleportation to escape danger, low AC due to reliance on light no armor, invested buckler without hindering for AC without range combat options, carry short bow, it's fair. Very vulnerability to will saves due to low wisdom, take iron will. I mean, if there's space for it in the build, I don't know if there's or not, but it's an idea. Low skill points because of class selection, maximize knowledge, geography, use ranger level to gain crucial skills. Encounter heavy, and that's a crazy one. Knowledge, geography, using that to do better, which is neat. That's an interesting point. Encounters with heavily armored enemies, use power attack to crush peoples, although that's not accurate. Deal significant getting opponents IC. Basically, the idea is that if they have heavy AC and you're still hitting them hard because you have a super high BAB and super high bone attack, you can do that. Trap susceptibility. I'm not agreeing with that one only because you're a barbarian. Because barbarian deals with traps. Well, wait, uncanny dodge. Limited offensive options against magical attacks, and then enchanted with resistance. So your spike gauntlet has resistance to spells because you're not good at it. So use that. And these are actually weaker ones too. Weak enemies against any with high DR. Well, use magic. Use a magic one to bypass it. Like, it's a weakness. It's overcomable. Now the role-playing ones are all generated, but honestly, the role-playing sections are all kind of weak, if I'm being honest. And I can easily make those via using my existing outlines that I have used otherwise. Getting that over there, I can easily do it. So that's actually, again, that's stuff that I'd have to develop, but I can do it. Back the FAQ. Now these ones are kind of wordy, and there's not very many here. In fact, actually, my dude kind of screwed up a little bit, but that's okay. There's some issues with the formatting, but yeah. So I can easily do the fact here, and I can kind of redefine the fact and like make it a little bit like the one that wants to generate using 4.0 is kind of limited, word wise, but we can make it have more words. And then the honestly, the call out, the join, I'm probably going to actually add it as a banner like this. My favorite places for D20 books. Which that one I actually kind of want to move because I actually want it underneath. It's actually not supposed to be under there. It's supposed to be underneath here, underneath the picture. And this picture, by the way, needs to be completely redone, but that's okay. That's a future problem when I have time. Oh, what is time? There's never enough time. So I'm just saying, like, there's, I can do most of this with mine and actually probably add, this one doesn't even have like a good, the critical milestones is in there. Oh, and article at a glance, but that's again, that's a like, all right, so you generated all this. Now go through and create an article at a glance and post it and put it at the top. So like, that's easy for me to do. easy for me to do. Because there's not even like an intro, right? Which is kind of weird. It's just like level distribution, critical milestones, a level distribution. It feels bad that there's no like blurb, you know. Yeah. So you see what I'm saying though here is that like this stuff got in place, like most of it. The only thing that's kind of not is the specific there. And like this intro, which again I can have it do a better intro. But yeah, because I can basically, because the thing is that the first runs of it ends up doing like the stat blocks, which tell the system everything it needs to know about the given build, because it has all the other information available, right? And then something that the GPT stuff does for inspiration is like this stuff. So the role-playing considerations, it's just inspirations, right? And then we have our FAQ, and the FAQ again is pretty much a summarization at the end of it. And then again, like I said, the call out I'll probably actually end up redoing, like putting it as an end tag on all of them. But then again, I don't like that. Well, what I'll do, the intention would be like having them have a subcategory where they're about, where it's about the barbarians or what have you. Actually, let's go ahead and open link. And then this part's like, this is all automated generated. The related post is automated generated. The terms definition about the raging nomad, all automated generated. Like all automated generated. So yeah. So does that's kind of where I'm at with it. With a lot of the stuff. So the older articles, even as they're going through those processes, it's like I can take them. And I'm gonna have to go through myself and follow up with div or follow up on div to make sure that they're all where I want them, where I need them. And then we're gonna end up using these to create templates in mass, or not templates, but train a AI after we have them all where we want to be, to kind of build articles in this manner, in the manner that we want them to be. And then we end up having this space where the stuff is done and we just have to focus on quicker editorials. Because the point about this stuff is, and again, would we keep the current pacing, yet be able to get them done faster and put a more lead time? That would actually be ideal. Because it's we're putting a lot of work into these posts and a lot of cool stuff in here. I'm not sure 100% about the format of some of the stuff, like delivered distribution box. Actually, I'm kind of proud about it because I like it. I think it's kind of clunky. I like it, where it's like, hey, here's the brief, and then we're like, oh, one, it's normal. Like this is where the majority of the article actually is. Like the interesting part of the article is, where it's like make him a tactical asset in a natural setting. The focus on knowledge geography enhances adaptability combat-wise. Nomad still branches the power of barbarian with increased reaches per day, but now flexibility for combat reflex speech enables enabling devastating attacks against foes forgetful enough to provoke attack opportunities. So if you've got like people who are pushing people around and instigating attack opportunities, guess what? You can take advantage of. So that's kind of where I'll go. Like I really, 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 really like the Raging Nomad, or like the format that we've got here. The Raging Nomad is great though too. At the zenith of power, our level 20 Raging Nomad stands as a living legend, a roller of destruction and tactical acumen. With a capacity to rage 4 times a day and teleport across the battlefield, this seasoned barbarian has become the epitome of terror. Damage reduction and enhanced trap sense ensure survival in the mix of chaos. And if battles turn on brute strength, the Nomad's increased strength and specialized glaive mastery delivers devastating blows, turning enemies into mere memories. Raging Nomad, and again, has that cool thing there. The stat block, which has our summaries of what it is. They're human with 13d12 plus 1d6, 8 plus 68 plus 40 with an average 153 HP. Innate plus 4, which is, well, it is what it is. Speed 40, AC 21 with the Dex plus 2 armor, because it's all based on buying point buys. Attack 23, glaive. That's why it's like if you want to use power attack, do it. And then with a glaive, which is in this case 1d10 plus 7 slash 3, or the spike gauntlet 1d4 plus 7, or a short bow. Special qualities: fast movement, illiteracy. You never bought off illiteracy. I love it. Rage 4 per day, trap sense plus 4, uncanny dodge, proven uncanny dodge, wild. Empathy, favorite enemy, damage reduction 3 dash, planar terrain mastery shifting, alignment any. I think it actually has to be, doesn't that be chaotic? Yeah, it's fine. Well, no, it's alignment any because you move down from barbarian, so you're no longer straight barbarian, which means by the time you're leveling up, you no longer have that requirement. Saves 4 at 18, reflex 8, will 6, strength 23, 18 plus 5 from levels, dex 14, on 14, int 10, wiz 10, charisma 8, skills knowledge geography, intimidate plus 3, less than 2, survive 6, track. Feats should be bold, but that's okay. I gotta look back. Break. That's okay. Feats, power attack, improved initiative, endurance, track, combat reflexes, cleave, open focus, glaive, and iron will, which, you know, hey, look at that. Equipment, glaive, spike gauntlet, short bow, 20 arrows, best armor you can afford, and master buckler. That's fine. So yeah. And then so that's all, like, basically, as I said before, that stuff's the majority of the really content added. Not that I think I think people probably overlook it, but it's one of those things where the information is there. So if somebody goes stat blocks level 1, oh, well, here's all this information. So it's one of those ones where it's kind of hidden, but it's like, no, these are stat blocks, bro. So if you want to look at them, good on you. And you're in the right. And then critical milestones. This gives you kind of a summary of where you're at for each levels, right? Achieve higher trap levels and finish with a robust build for endgame combat, including iron will for better saves against mind affecting effects. Mind affecting effects. That's not even like AI twitching. That's like how it is actually what it is. And then we've got our kind of equipment progression, with a +1 blade grave up to level 1620, +3 glaive, and ring of protection +2 and +3 breastplate. And then there's implications that off of that, but it's the sort of thing where it gives you this idea, you know, you probably should get this boots of speed. You should probably have a +1 breastplate at this point in time. At this point, you have a chain shirt, because it's a basically, as it says before, between protection and mobility. It doesn't inhibit you too bad, but by a certain point, you start to the space where you can get the breastplate and kind of run with it. By the future ones actually have get better and more detailed, so like they'd be like mithril breastplate or whatever, but it's fine. And then we can kind of see where you have your big core features, and I think the core features should actually be above the level distribution. In fact, actually, maybe the core features should be, instead of the article at a glance, should be at the top. Let's see. Oh, I need to. I don't know where my eraser went. I'll just use this. So let's see. Copy success stage. Glossary item. That part actually is erased because I actually have the process more or less written out here as well. Because as I said before, I was pretty much already sold on the article generation in-house stuff. I was more or less sold on it. It just was I needed to sit down and think about it, right? All right. So let's see. So 4 point. So let's see. 4 PT sum. Honestly, I think that core abilities should actually come up here. Core abilities and features. And then we go into the stat blocks, like the nitty-gritty stuff, the stat blocks. Intro. Then level distribution, Stat blocks, milestones, and equipment progression, legacy equipment, combat scenarios, and the EQ check, combat scenarios, weakness encounters for combat, and then role playing, and then fact. So right now, and this kind of is the other part about it, is that right now, the things that I need to have broken down into my in-house are the 4-point summary, which is done after the process is done, and the fact, the FAQ, which is also done after the process is done, and then the core abilities and features as the intro, which is also done after the fact. And the way I've got it jumping right now, and I'm gonna stick with this because honestly, trying to do a conclusion like just unnecessary. So role playing considerations, and then straight into the fact. And the fact is actually where we get into the conclusion. And then the last CTA. Join us. So, and then that actually via banner. And that via banner will end up happening is that I'll have a banner per basically kind of like meta groups. So, you know, you've got like the survivalist type class, right? Your barbarian or your naturalist type class, I guess is the way to say it. But your barbarian, your depending on how you want to cut it though, because like you can get it weird if you say it that way. Because like Shugenja and barbarian don't have much in common. They're naturalist in effect. You know, one's like energy of the universe, right? And the other one's like the raw title, unfettered force of nature, which is the barbarian. I said it the other way. Both of them are kind of raw, unfettered force of nature, though. If you really think about it. So, hmm. You kind of see where I'm going at with that. Like it's one of those ones where either way you're talking unfettered force of nature, right? And so it's like the natural forces, the druid, the ranger, the barbarian, the Shugenja, and others, or the stealthy ones, the rogues, the ninja, the well, etc. I mean, it's one of those ones, or the fighters, like the fighter type, the pugilist type. But then now you have a weird overlap because the barbarians are kind of a split between naturalist and the pugilist. And one could argue that the monk is part of both too, the martial and the oneness with nature type aspect thing. So you get into this weird space where both of them run into that same problem, and since both of them run into that same problem, like how do you break down that? I mean, I can break them down by the classes, but that means that for the like however many classes that are that we have builds up, and I don't know if we have the full list just yet. You end up in this space where you have where all of them are or should have. Well, I'll make the argument that the CTA, that banner that I'm thinking about, that I'm kind of roughing on my head, should be not per build but per class. So like how this says, although it says it by the build, a raging nomad can be all the different players hoping to get the most out of their barbarian character. Okay, cool. But instead doing like something more generic, the barbarian blah 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 blah, and then you have like where it's it's kind of a discussion about how being part of a community can help with the build, and this community is the one to do. Because we have the expertise that we have, the ones that made the build, right? Talk with the developers of the build, talk with the folks behind it, talk with like-minded, is the idea. Now I have to admit that the actual available resources aren't as grand as I was hoping they'd be by this point in time. We do have around 100 people on the server, or rather 100 persons in the server, accounts in the server. And our current number is something like 80-ish something, I think. I haven't looked at it in the past few days, but it's like 80-ish something. And I have to admit that it's two people that maybe sort of talk, and like, and there's the people who are, you know, part of the group, like part of the actual staff, and we're there and present, and honestly, you know, more than willing to have conversations here, but you know, on topic, but we don't talk, can't really do much. You know, and part of that's probably because a lot of the streams that, you know, we've been doing here, because it's kind of how the way things kind of shook out because of where people are at in their lives and so on and so on. We end up in this space where getting those proper type of streams into the topic matter haven't been able to get off the ground for various reasons. And as in all truth, with information I just got, well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if we'll be able to get like this group to do the ones that are, you know, directly in the staffing of it, to do the thing that it's kind of in the vision, but that's okay. That's not a vexation sort of thing. It's just one of those that's clearly become the fact. So and it's okay. And it is okay. It's one of those, you know, ebb and flow. You gotta work with what you have, you know. To borrow from my Marine Corps days, right? Semper Gumby, always flexible. It's a play, of course, just for a little bit of understanding. There's a play, of course, on Semper Fidelis, always faithful, which is actually on the flag itself. On the wrong hand to see, apparently I don't necessarily need more wine at this point. But the flag itself, of course, says Semper Fidelis. So, but Semper Fidelis, always faithful, but Semper Gumby is the practical experience thereof, because it's always flexible, you know, standby sort of thing, right? The point that I'm trying to make with that line of thinking is simply this: is that we are given the circumstances that we have. We are dealt the hand we are dealt. What we do with that hand is what matters, and that's kind of where we're at with this kind of flexing with the waves. What happens? Was it Kenny Rogers? No, that's not right. I don't remember, and I'm not gonna look it up right now. The gambler. You know when to hold them, know when to fold them. That sort of idea. Like that's what I meant. And furthermore, it kind of goes on. That song goes on specifically into every hand is a winner and every hand is a loser. It's just a matter of how you play it. It's just a matter of how you play, and that's true. And that's the point about that song. Is it's a kind of a reflection on life, and that reflection on life in the context says, yeah, you're given the hand that you're handed, but what you do with it is what actually matters. In context of what other people do with theirs, but and again, it's the thing. The one problem I have with that metaphorical take, right, is that a game of poker, you know, the gambler's kind of talking about whatever, is a zero-sum game. Like there's only one winner, right? You know, and not always, sometimes the pot split and whatever, but you know what I mean, right? Other than the experience of the game itself, right? Life doesn't tend to be purely zero-sum. Sometimes it is, but at least in my experience, it doesn't tend to be. There's always a kind of a middling way that can leave everyone equally dissatisfied, if you want to take it that way, but still to progress things forward. So the point that I'm getting at with that line of thinking is, simply put, that with the changes that are kind of there, and the plays that are kind of up, and the way that things are going, the way that things are going overall for myself personally, for the crew in general, is we can still we will make this into something. Dag nabbit. Though it takes my heart blood, right? Because I made a promise. So, and the detail of that promise, well, that's between me and the person I made that promise with, and whether or not they even realize I made that promise is irrelevant. I made that promise. So, all right, where that goes though, where that ultimately goes with all that though, with all that rambling, blah blah blah. Rambler, gambler, backbiter. No, Johnny Cash. Look, I'm not a anyway. Rambler actually is talking about something completely different than that. But where was I going with that? Sorry. skep brain me. It's been a long week. And I'm also, I'm exhausted on so many levels. The thing is that it's kind of where where I find myself kind of doing that calculation for the time being, because it needs to be, the figuring of it needs to be done before I can actually do the thing, right? And just how far along we are on it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of 3 of 7. Yeah, 3 of 7. I might have to do a little bit of weird organization stuff here. And 3 of 7 complete, and that's the 4-point summary and the core ability, the not the core abilities and intro. The intro is kind of covered, but how I have to work with it is a little bit off. So I gotta work on that. In the prompts that I have built out. The role playing needs to be done wholesale. I think I might have some prompts for it though that I can work with. And the FAQ is going to require a little bit of touchery to it, with the batch works and all that. But that's actually not that terrible. So, and then on a long and short note, the next step for where we come up next after this process is done with the just to segue kind of into our the 2-week plan, as it were, is to get this image generation done, and then we'll start working on. I have to think about this for a sec, because there's a problem. Because I have another more immediate pressing concern here beyond my example. In the article generation here, which are our next groups, the monks actually. I done goofed, and I need to fix stuff. Because the problem is I removed all of these things, the niche, the topic, the series, and how like the title and all of that jazz on all of these things. And I don't want to go through and like re-click it and just like re-add. I mean, those are easy to click through, right? But those are a little bit more of a pain in the back side to do it. Plus, I should have functionally something that does it. Because let's go back to my to-do. And we this is a like precursor for the next steps, so that I was just describing my to-do. So I need to use 9995 as a base. 5, which of course you can't see because it's buried behind what I'm looking at. I haven't moved this stuff around because I got busy talking about other stuff. Let's find where we are. That's there. Let's move the site work down. There you go. So, I don't want to do it. The thing I'm about to do. Well, maybe what if I put it up here? Oh, I don't have up there because I removed that screen because again it was distracting. Oh well, it's all gone. No more site work. We're done with site now. I'm kidding. Let's see. Also to do. There we go. But actually, what you're more interested in looking at, and what I'm more interested in looking at, is that generative process over there, because this one's not going to change the screen. I'm not going to change the screen that I have this one on, because it's actually over on vertical screen for a reason. It helps, as you can kind of see there. It helps. Keep that word. All right. So let's see. So 9995, which is what generates producing cards in the Google Sheet, is outside of card ops. And then we'll also be adding the card to the JSON for batch generations. Okay. What do I mean by that? Assuming the title is in the first column, allowing trial via Butler. Let's see, that's the insert the init custom fields. Okay. It generates the cards. Where does it put it? Shoot. I would assume that it would put it. Let's go back to article generation into start or holding. Okay. I mean, I can test it, but I don't really feel like testing it. Because I should know from my details here. The variables are not held from the previous card. Trello cut custom fields. Get custom field definitions on items. Uppercase key. Variables. Or custom field naming variables. If field name and custom. Oh boy, this is going to take a little bit more. And then there's that one. And that one's actually, I've got a person working on that one, but once we get the article like the article processing again, I'll be able to do more Cody stuff. Weirdly enough, I'll still have a lot of the image gen stuff to do, but then we'll start, well, even now, honestly, like I'm actually starting to feel comfortable kind of with the image gen. Like I'm starting to feel like I'm kind of getting better at it, to be honest. Yeah. It depends on what the image is in it as. So that's the one caveat. The one thing I do want to do though is I do want to like spend like I will basically want to get ahead of the game, right? And then spend like a week where I just generate all the, like not all of them, but like as far as the glossary images I can do to help cut down the future time. Because they all need to be done, right? The glossary images are actually like long-term pending. So I need to get the glossary images done wide swath. And get a second image off of those. Because like the second image is still based on glossary, right? It's just a different perspective on the same idea. So, leveraging a different series of tools, more or less. All right, so let's get back to this is waiting for a capital X, and then it'll convert it to a card. This is most assuredly a utility as well. I wonder what 9996 was. 7, 8, and then 9's that one. What about 994? Update, that's the update from the review stat blocks in article generation forward. Oh, so that pulls the stat blocks from the card that's in review stat blocks. Okay. I can't use 6 because 6 is where we've already defined that. And as I said before, I really don't want to insert like submodes. Like I already have submodes. I don't want to insert like submodes. That makes sense. Sorry, just a series of thoughts kind of processing through, percolating through. Because the thing is, I don't want to introduce sub modes, but I think I have to. Because like, you know, I thought 1 to 10 was going to be enough. For like each type. Because if I go up here, I have to go all the way up. Wait, what? I don't have. Shoot. I'll be. Snap it back up there and then scroll up to the top. Oh, I did it this way. So it was basically just my glossary of submodes. I mean, and I can always just put, you know, start dropping down more, but the problem is that, well, I've got some weird integration stuff between the two, right? Between Trello and this one. So, hopefully it can fix the hands. If it can't fix the hands, I'll have to like pull it up because I like just how, you know, the people's hands are there. It's kind of got this like tense moment to it. But even if I like cut off the hands, looking at the one, as long as I can get, you know, his hand and the two fellas' hands right, I can pull it up. As long as I get some of the hands right, right? Because like these hands are not right. So I know that the hands are not right, so they need to be fixed. All right, so because 999 is utility, right? Just general utilities. Shoot, I'm gonna have to run headlong into the auditing thing with this. This is why I was trying to not, because it's a right pain for the process I have to do. Hopefully, I'll be in good enough shape on Saturday to actually follow up and actually be here for the full 4 hours. Because I've been actually kind of under the weather the past few weeks. I'm actually little-ish, even as, but it's like I'm gonna have to do a reorg of the, you know, of these things and like put some to, you know, put some aside, use some, like re-envision some of them, repurpose some of them, and just kind of try and figure out what needs most. Actually, that particular DVD. Because it's article creator. This one actually, so honestly, this one ends up being the equivalency of the 2.0 ends up being closer to what, let me see, where is it? I know I did it. Freak. Stat block sum, glossary, and more for character development, critical milestones, weaknesses develop. Wait, critical milestones? Oh no, critical milestones are down here. Sorry. Generate one, because like the thing is that the fun part is that the 1, 5, 10, the stat blocks are the prerequisite for the critical milestones and so on, like I was saying earlier. All right. So, shoot. I don't have enough whiteboard space again. All right, so my stuff got erased accidentally. I do have a mark here about a digital whiteboard. Let's see. Oh yeah, that is one thing I've got to think about. because I said before, I want to do more local, like more stuff hosted locally, which does have mark requirements. Um, the one idea, the VTuber thing, probably too late for that one. Um, but that actually should be dog. Story. That's been on there for a while. That's a sad site. Okay. Oh, we've been pretty productive so far. For tonight, honestly. All right, let's take a look. See though here on this, because like I said before, like I have to really, 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 really like look up and think about what to do with these functions. Kind of what we're running into. And again, I'm gonna need I'm gonna need to think about, like, I'm not gonna erase what's on this side, but I think I'm gonna erase what's on the other side and come with a blank page there, because this is, I mean, it's one of those problems, like you build up and you build up and you build up and you build up, and then at a certain point you're like, well, I mean, I have a list, I have a lexicon that tells me what everything is doing, right? I do, it's a clear list of what everything is doing. But yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's another one I need to worry about. Where's that phrase for that thing? Nips, clips, clips. We'll call it clips. Because if I'm doing all this stuff, I should probably, I know it's not, most people probably won't listen to me after the fact, prattle on for a few hours, and then do whatever I'm doing and all blah blah blah. And heck, even live, people won't necessarily. Although if people interacted with me, I would interact with them. But yeah, no. If it's the sort of thing where I know that that's not really the super long. Well, it's not even, in my opinion, it's not super long for me. I'll listen to a 2 hour whatever for whatever just on the background. But the thing is that the the average one will like look at, oh, 2 hour and a half, 2 hours, 4 hours. I ain't doing that. With a live stream, it's not like super fine form, which is not. I'm not to be bothered with that at this moment. But there's a bunch of things out there that are focused around automatic generation of clips, and then kind of going through that process, which could be neat. And I may actually prioritize that for my off hours, for the next bit of time after this is done, for the pictures, for the images. And then I'm actually one of my biggest things is to get done or get started with the monks. If I can't get the monk, like if I could get the monk those cards in a good spot by like Monday at the latest, I'll end up having to do something weird. But this initializes them, right? Let's see. Yep. it initializes them. Well, okay. So that initializes them. Actually breaks most of them, but that's actually okay. So then if it's initialized, well, let's see. I'd cheat a little bit on this idea. Let's see. Let's just do it. Call me lazy if you will, and I could honestly do it, but you know, I am thinking high level. Which you let's create new cards. Let's create new cards. Let's generate slug, which we're not using at the minute. Your topic from comments, no. Delete all comments from cards because I'm lazy. A comment from card, no. Add comment to card, no. Get card comments. Update the title. Update card custom card title from custom field. The custom field value. Let's see, get custom fields. Are we already getting the custom fields? No. We're looking for I've got a search function here somewhere. Where is it? Previous list, get next list ID. Attachment to card, add attachment to card. I got two of them. What is that? Add text attachment to card. Oh, okay. I know why that's there. Update Trello, get cards from list. Okay, updated memory path. Although, also adding, see the part that's got me worried here is I haven't marked as being, well, we also added the JSON L for batch generation. Assuming the title is in the first. Let's see. Let's see if I like it or not. Because I only need this specific. I'm not gonna just wholesale copy it when I have a known good functioning. Let's just see, what is it? Article generation. I need to change the format of this comment because it's multi-line now. No, it's not. It's, I don't know why I did stars. Here. So let's just, if the card exists in article generation. Wouldn't template card want to be in like tools? I'm gonna move that over to tools. And I'm gonna immediately think I did it wrong, but I know I didn't. Yeah, okay, so it shouldn't have card generation. Card generation should only exist here. Because like this is the checklist, right? So the card generation checklist got added to this guy somehow. Or this got moved over there for some reason. Yeah, I don't know what happened here. I do not know what happened here. Why the template card got put there? You know, I'm not even gonna worry about it. I should, but I'm not even gonna worry about it. All right. Anyway, where was I? So it'd start. Let's see. Here we're producing cards with the list sheet, and I modified that a little bit. The mode is the same. Activate column. That's the one that is O, not 0, by the way. Header mapping for row and rows, right? Info, existing card. Okay. So for row and rows, and then what? That's like the first major change. Card. So title row. Oh, okay, I see what's going on. Title row equals row 0. if existing card, and then it determines the card ID there. So if I hit enter, that's actually fair because it doesn't need to sleep if it does need to sleep, right? And that's where we have those. All right, so existing card, I'm just checking it, equals Trello card, my name. If existing card or exists updating, that's fine. Actually, I appreciate them doing that. Really appreciate them doing that, actually. Card ID equals existing card ID. Fair. I actually, like I said before, I was pretty certain I already had the function made for it, so it was the sort of thing where I was like, yeah, but let's just be lazy. I already went through like the remorse. I was like, yeah, but and then card ID, Trello card creating list, team sleep. See. Honestly, that's what I'm gonna do here in like 15 minutes or so. Although I'll probably be, I may or may not continue to stream a little bit later than intention. But if I do, I'm gonna have to take a a long break. I'll think about it for a second. Yes, it's gonna happen because I want to get this done. I need to get this done because I screwed a bunch of the cards. So, and then that should be all we need. Because I already have it. Because I already have it set up, like, right? All right, so now what that means is that if I go to Monk in the not opened in a long time Google Sheet, my article planning sheet. Ooh, that's I freaking hate. And I hope they fix that eventually. And I do mean fix that eventually. The fact that there's not a dark mode for Google Sheets. All right, so what statuses do I have? Awaiting group, processing review, standby. Well, no, standby should be actually no. Oh, I think. Oh, they're in standby. You tricksy me. All right, so Monk. And then Monk's gonna be my first victim. One, two, three, four, five. Okay. See how many we have even just now, and I haven't even updated with the more recent stuff that's been added. So just to point it out, because we actually have more to the lexicon than I've gone through yet. And he made a lot, and I haven't even touched them yet to start processing them. Sucks because we have the fifth ed stuff kind of not even processed yet because I haven't fully built out what that process looks like, the equivalency. Because as you can see on the spreadsheet, we have all this data, and like it's complicated. All right, so that should do the thing. If I go, am I in my? No, I'm not in my happy zone. I actually need to like fix. Need to fix this eventually. All right, and then it's on article builder, and then 9.5, right? Yes. There. And you can see how it's updating them. So that means that it was successful. Well, this says it was successful. Although that is an oversight. Oh no, I think it was an oversight actually. It didn't do it. It didn't like butcher it. Oh, did I not catch that earlier? I did actually. The funny thing is, I did actually tell him about this use case. Did he screw it up? It's fine. It has the death dealer written in there, so I'm okay with that. Shoot. Yeah, I did the thing I didn't want it to do. Yeah, it's not a big deal. It just kind of, it's more or less an aesthetic thing, for me. And then it's one of those ones where, and I'm laughing because I keep on doing this at work, where I know in this environment what providing too much information does. Like, I hate to say it, I hate to say it outright, right? But when you're dealing with people, right, that you're trying to like that you're trying to lead, right? You're trying even if they think that they're in your position, but you're doing a task in their context and you're the actual driver for the project because they have the idea, the grandiose idea, but you're the one who's responsible to implement that grandiose idea. If you give a person too much information, and they're not me, they start asking a lot of not irrelevant questions. I don't even want to say silly questions, but they ask questions that are like not like, they start asking questions that are they're kind of already answered in the in the statements. And then you have to like steer them back and be like, this thing is the way it is. Don't worry about all the XYZs. And I found with with kind of just like organizationally, a lot of the times you have to really like limit down what information you allow, what information you permit to what information you permit to kind of get linked. So and so because people will oftentimes like, especially if they're fairly intelligent, like try and overlink stuff and then try and like introduce external variables that, I mean, although see, I hesitate to use this phrasing, but aren't quite on task. They're not quite relevant, they're not quite relevant. I wonder if I move this card. Let's move. Go to the force upload station. And then change numbers. I move the card to particle generation. Go need to fix. It's gonna go at the bottom. That's gonna be uncomfortable, but I'm gonna do it for now that way. I scroll over here and I go to Samurai Master. Yeah, shit. Okay. I'm doing this in the worst way. Yeah. I'm just trying to think if there's a way to do it. So hey, at least I got that to-do list done finally. Like, and that one actually was pretty easy. It's not, you know, it's not 100% applied, but I have it done. All right. So basically, the add strengthening weaknesses, we already have that to the batches. I actually think that I have that article gen for 5 packs. Don't I? Let me check the code base there. Okay. Again, that was one of those ones where that was easy. That was actually way easier than I thought it was going to be. I have the old one, the heading based summary of the 5 class. I don't think I actually have. Let's see. Update article planning sheet from Trello with card data from review, stat blocks, and article generation board. And that's the update, create Trello card, and then create JSON L file from Zella. Glossary, weaknesses, character, equipment, version, comment scenarios. Okay, so yeah, so basically I'm gonna need to let's see if I can make that like the 99, 6, and 7 type thing. If I can get that to be more streamlined. I'm also going to do, like I said before, I'm going to have to do over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to have to do a super deep audit on all this stuff. So, my original plan was to stay a little bit later, but I think that we're actually not perfectly done. You know, it's obvious that there's still always way more to do, like considering what I just opened up the can of worms. Especially once we get done with this process for that for that image, the article generation has to get worked on. But yeah, so that's kind of that for now. Although I am gonna go before I go. Actually gonna go to the checklist, and I made a decision that we're glossary checklist. Did I already change it? Oh no, I didn't. Article generate or glossary image generation. Delete that. Glossary feature image now becomes not relevant here. Okay. Those are from manual. I'm pretty certain I don't need to do it manual anymore because of 99.7. That blocks gets done, and then character development milestones to get ran, and then and these are kind of all batched. And then this gets done here. I think I did a pretty good job, although honestly, this should probably be a function unto itself. But it's a future me problem, I guess. Because now I just need to see. So okay, so basically those articles, and those are in the wrong spot, being in the 999, 6, 7, and 8. Those should actually be like somewhere else. They're utilities, but they're not like pure utilities. But that was a mistake I made kind of conceptually way back. It's like when I put the utilities and I was like, oh, well, 0 will be the fact summary because I just wanted that part isolated into itself. So that was an error. That reminds me, I have a whole stack of prompts that I need to see what I can do about them, like other, kind of value added content stuff. That is again a future me problem. I think everything actually has all the ones I did, which was like the entire everything, already has image prompts. They're bad image prompts, but they're cool image prompts. That makes sense, and they actually are really neat, kind of how they worked out from the Stellar Dragon stuff. So, all right. Well, I think that's all I actually have in me for today. Like I said, I was hoping to stick around a little bit longer, but I'm out of steam. So, thank you for anyone that's watched this far, or anyone who watches this far, or anyone who even catches this end. I appreciate y'all. You have a great day. Cheers.